What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Grab Your Torch with Caleb and Joel, and we are fresh off a season 46 premiere, which featured. I thought it was a great episode, just overall, top to bottom, great premiere. I enjoyed watching like every minute of it. There's a lot of camp life time, a lot of good strategic talk, and then we had like I feel like we had a classic first boot in this episode
Mhm.
as well. What are your thoughts on the episode, Joel?
I mean, what a good little opening to Survivor 46. I say this is one of the more like, I guess, tamer episodes in the grand scheme of things. But I mean, what a perfect first boot. I think we had a lot of good character moments. We had a lot of good strategy. I'm really vibing with this cast. A lot of people that we thought were going to like be good big players and stuff were, and a couple of them really showed up. I think Soda. Hey, by the way, you guys should check out our cast draft because I drafted Soda and it's looking pretty good for me right now.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I'm feeling pretty good. But overall, I like every time I go into a season of Survivor at this point, sometime at some point I'm like, you know what, maybe this cast won't live up to the last one. And I felt this really going into 46. And this cast has a lot of potential, and I have some favorites already, and I'm really excited for it.
I totally agree. I think just for starters, like Tevin's opening quote, I feel like that like his like opening
Oh yeah.
to the episode where he just was talking about Survivor instead of like having the usual Jeff explaining the game of Survivor. Like I thought that was a really cool twist. I like Tevin a lot as a character so far. And
Oh,
I
me too.
definitely I felt like we got to know like everyone a little bit in this episode. Like we I couldn't tell you if everyone got a confessional, but I want to say everyone did. Like I just feel like we heard from everyone.
Mhm.
And so I feel like that was really nice to have. There's no one that was really invisible in this episode as well. And so
No.
I just feel like we got a good like round view. I know at least of like the Orange Tribe that kept winning. I thought they were going to be like the disaster tribe of the season, honestly, like looking into it. But they were winning all the challenges. We didn't get a lot of strategic talk from them, but we got the green tribe and the purple tribe were really kind of
Yeah.
going back and forth a little bit, and I was like, I don't really know if I want green to go to just yet. I kind of wanted to see what purple or I guess Yanu was up to. So I'm glad everything went down the way it did. Just from the opening, like good starting challenge. Um, yeah, there's really not much to say about that like reward like, opening challenge, but um, I do want to talk about Sweat and Savvy.
I definitely do because that was unbelievable to watch on like two different aspects where at this point in my opinion, I feel like Swever Savvy is such like a mundane thing to have in Survivor at this point where you could like everyone when given the choice they're going to take savvy because it's literally like you're not physically doing something, and if you don't get it, so what, like at least you didn't waste a couple hours. But now it's just like that challenge looked intense, like every scene I'm like, man, they keep making it worse and worse. This one was like a couple hour like grueling long challenge, but I mean unbelievably was I can't believe it happened. Was it I can't even say his last name.
Jelinski.
Jelinski gave up
Yeah, he just
without
I knew
Q's,
this.
and he throws the hourglass
And then Q was just freaking pissed the rest of the episode. And I think that was really his nail in the coffin, like
off the
straight from
rip.
when as soon as that hourglass hit the ground, like he was done. Like there's just so many things not going for him. He kept volunteering for everything and then just not being able to follow through at all. And I was just like, dude, you gotta actually like commit. Like even if you do spend the 4 hours, you gotta show to your tribe that y'all tried. You know, I
Mhm.
don't know.
You can't
It's
give up,
no,
and
really.
if you are going to give up, you have to give up together.
Right.
Like,
And Q was like,
and
yeah, I'm just not wanting to, but if
and
you
especially with, I think he was probably the worst possible person to like do that to. Where this guy's like the most like, we gotta go, we gotta finish, like we're doing everything 110%. First off, I'm a huge Q fan.
me
He
too.
just looks like a great player, and like I thought he was gonna be in trouble with how much like he was like, I gotta get stuff done, but he seemed to like be perfectly suited in his tribe. but like he just off the rip doing that is just so bad. Such terrible gameplay. It's just like it was truly like an awe of watching where you're like, no way he's doing it. Like this is your shot and you know it. And oh my gosh, it was glorious to see.
While we're at it, let's go ahead and do like a Yanu assessment of like that tribe.
Yeah, let's do it.
We spent some time about like Jelinski and Q already, but what do you feel about like Kenzie, Tiffany, like
Oh,
some of like there's more of like women's alliance, but bringing in Q and Jelinski, that was very temporary. I do think
I
Q, Tiffany, Kenzie, and Banu now
mhm.
have something, and Jess is more on the outside, but I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely love this tribe because I feel like every single one of the characters was just like so well. Like I think a 2 hour premiere was good. But like you really got to see like each one of them. You get to see Jess's sleep deprivation like actually getting to her. You get to see I like bro, Tef what is it? Kinsey and Tef's like a little duo, amazing. I love that she found the idol. I love like they just immediately ran or went back, found the box, and then at that point, like we were going at the tribal with only 4 votes. Like I thought it was gonna be a 4 vote tribal, and I was like, oh my gosh. But we didn't get that. But I love this tribe. Banu, like what a positive like he's such different than what I imagined, but exactly the same where you can see it's kind of like this Carolyn situation where he's obviously very emotional. This guy's like a very positive, uplifting guy, but like he's still playing the game, and nothing made me laugh more than like Jeff asking him like probably the most direct question I've heard Jeff ask in a long time of like, "Hey, are you gonna vote out Jinsky?" And he was like, "You ready to vote?" What a perfect way of like just summing up his character in
Yeah, I
one
was like,
one
bro, just
episode.
said that. That's crazy.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think Bono has a lot of energy. Like I just saw that from the outset, and I think he was just very social and connected with his tribe very well. And then obviously, I think Kenzie, Q, and Tiffany are like the most insulated, like in
Mhm.
that tribe right now. They're probably going to be the majority going forward with them, and like if anything happens, it's probably going to be like Bono or Jess. Like I don't even know. But yeah, I like their tribe a lot. I think they just have a lot of interesting personalities, and they didn't really work as a team the most. Like that's why they kept struggling with those challenges.
Right.
So they same order both times. Like they got third both times. So they got to figure out, what to do moving forward in the future because like just the momentum could just get zapped immediately and you're just kind of struggling to win anything. And if they lose again next week, I'm fearing that they're going to lose a lot of people. Which is sad because I
Yeah.
like a lot of the people on that tribe. So if we can talk a little bit about the Green Tribe or Siga, with Charlie and Ben doing the puzzle. And I thought it was a crazy like hard puzzle too. Like
That was
these
also a very
these
complex
these
puzzle.
sweat puzzles the last couple seasons have been rough. Like I was
Yeah.
like I wouldn't have been able to figure that out if I tried. So I like their personalities a lot. They seem just to really mesh a lot and I
Mhm.
don't know. I guess we had the women's alliance on that tribe with
Yeah, we do
Tiffany,
have the
Mariah, and
Women's
Jen.
Alliance. We do
Yes.
have Charlie integrating into that,
Charlie, yeah, hopping in.
playing the middle,
Yeah.
him
Uh,
clocking it as well.
yeah, my winner pick Tim. I don't know. He seems like a little like on the outside there. So I don't know if he can do anything to kind of get into that. He was reminding me a little bit about like Bruce from last season where he's just kind of
Mhm.
like not really, feeling it completely or like actually like socially like with everyone gelling super
Yeah.
well. But I'm hoping that he can get his footing a little bit more later on. I don't know. Do you have
Yeah.
anything about that tribe?
Yeah, it was definitely the tribe I feel like we got the least about. We definitely got to see a lot of Charlie. Charlie, I think, is set up to be a pretty goofy character. Someone who loved Taylor Swift, this Harvard student, all this stuff, set in the middle. I think the Girls Alliance is like pretty I feel like every season at this point, like kind of Tim sort of explained it, but like I feel like every season since like man, looking back on like since 43, maybe even like 41, like there's always been like the three girls come together and then something like happens to break them apart. And I think Tim like recognized it and like they weren't being overly subtle about it, but like I mean, I guess credit to Tim. I don't really like Tim's approach to being like, "Hey, we got to get out of like a woman." I would
Yeah,
say actually more optimal of him to take out Charlie, who's trying to play the
right,
middle. So that's just for my ed. So I think Tim's like kind of on the right track. He's just wrong approach, and I think he has like a way out of it too. But I want to like say that those three are like pretty. The three girls are like pretty interesting characters in their own right. I really like all three of them. They all have, it's like Liz, Mariah, and Maria.
mhm.
Like they have
Or
two
no,
like
it's Mariah, Maria, and Jim. Yeah,
Yes, Jim. Sorry, I was completely. They have. Why is there
yeah,
two names like that?
yeah,
Yeah, Jim. Jim. I want to point out. I believe she was the one who says like, "I'm the sole survivor." Like right before like a credit,
yeah,
and I was just like, these are like the most like in your face. Like she's telling us because there was a lot of like, "Hey, I'm gonna win this game" kind of confessionals this
for
season.
sure.
So I really like the tribe. I think it has a lot of upside. I think Jim specifically is Loki in a great spot. And yeah, I do really enjoy it. I don't think the winner will come from there though. I think the
Right.
winner will be either purple or orange, honestly.
I think they were the Survivor tribe, like the vibes, like they're all
Yeah.
about the vibes. I was like,
Been with the vibes, bro.
yeah,
He talks so much differently than like I was truly expecting. Like he was
yeah,
just like, yeah, man, good try on the puzzle. Like, what?
yeah. I don't know. I like their tribe. I think honestly, I don't think they're going next week at all. Like I think they're
I don't
chilling,
think so either.
because we didn't really get enough to even have like a little, like I know we'll have another 2 hours next week, which I'm really excited about.
Me too.
It didn't feel like 2 hours watching it just now. Like it
It
just
was
felt
great
like,
pacing.
yeah, it was paced very well. Um, and yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about Siga. I think we could talk more about Nami.
Yeah,
I feel like they had a lot of,
I'm trying to get all the names down.
yeah, they
Truth.
had a lot of interesting dynamics. We kind of started with um like Hunter, like we
My winner pick.
looking
My
good
winner
for
pick.
Hunter. All I'm saying.
I. Oh my
He's like
gosh.
talking about being more on the introverted side, but also
Mhm.
he wasn't seen like as apart from his tribe at all. Like they were always seemed like, yeah, Hunter, let's go, come on. They seemed to, they had Soda as well, and she was like really like leading the tribe with like songs and stuff, and I thought that was really fun. Um,
Love
and
soda.
they just seemed like a really fun tribe. Like I'd be like I'd vibe with them. So, um,
Yeah.
like Hunter seemed just like be well insulated. He didn't put a target on his back or anything. Uh, Venus, however, she goes and looks
Love
for an
Venus.
idol. She like firecracker energy already. Um, and then Randon's like, bruh, she's Parvati 2.0, like the classic, like calling everyone Parvati. I'm like,
Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. Can't
you got to
keep
come
it
up
to
with someone,
yourself.
give someone new to talk about, like Wentworth or something. I don't know, but
Wentworth 2.0.
Wentworth 2.0, yeah. But I don't know. It's too early to like even like call that out to someone, and then for him to go to Soda to talk about that, and he was like, "Bro, she's Parvati, like we got to get her out," and that's just too early to do that.
Very
Although,
bold.
like, yeah, it is very bold, and so I'm a little worried for Randon. He's on my team, so I gotta hope he stays around.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think it's looking good so far. With that tribe, Tevin,
Hey,
fantastic so
I
far.
just want to say
He's gonna be
Tevin
a confessional machine, bro.
he already is. Like, truthfully, his like explanation of Survivor to begin with was like so good they like literally put it over Jeff's.
Yeah,
And he just is just one liner after one liner after one. He's probably like, I mean, if he keeps this going, he's probably going to be my favorite character in the new era, which is crazy because Cody has been my favorite character in the new era for pretty consistently so far. But I think a lot of the better like strategy came from this tribe, specifically with the Hunter Tevin dynamic, where Hunter like recognized that like he is introverted and like he's not gelling with the tribe. Like he's not doing bad by any means, and he recognizes that, but he's not doing good. And he recognized that Tevin is the best at it. So he's using Tevin to help him. And it was so funny to see how awkward he was trying to explain, like, hey, I need you to teach me how to sing. And they become the Andy Griffith alliance.
Yes.
Like, that's set up for longevity in the game.
Yeah, I like that a
It's,
lot too.
it was just how, like, Jonathan and Omer were set up, how
Hmm.
Shannon and Ricard were set up. Like, I'm pretty sure, especially since it's named, come on, it's going far.
Yeah, it's going, and then they had the whole like editing trick with that too.
That was so funny. I loved
Yeah,
it. What's the soda? I mean, the Sodar.
yeah,
Come on, unbelievably
yeah,
great.
yeah. That they're like they're all like good
Each one
players.
of them great
Yeah,
for character.
but we already talked about Randon, but Liz, I was a little worried. She talked at the
Yeah,
beginning. She was like, I own four businesses. I sold two. I'm a little awesome. And it's just like, eh. And
it's like don't say
Tevin was
that.
like, you don't say that. I mean, like that's a little, you
Tevin
know,
was just like, why would you say that?
what
It's
we
day one.
first of all, you don't need to say that you're owning all these businesses and selling them like you're a boss lady. Second of all, you don't have to say that out loud. You know, that I feel like that makes it worse. Little like pride, I
Hmm.
guess, coming out. Just being a little bit full of herself in that moment, I think. But
Yeah,
I get the like you go girl, like, man, I did this. I'm like, that's awesome. But when you're announcing it to everyone, I feel like that can just immediately put a target on your back. So
yeah, and especially like in Survivor, I feel like in general, like some people can say that and people be like impressed and be like, "Oh wow, she's smart. I need to work with her." But like other times like this, it's to your detriment. Where like Tevin specifically was like, "Well, you don't need the money." Like, and like I feel like in this era of Survivor, like you'd assume like we're past that, but like in the back of your mind when you're on the island, you're like, yeah, I want the money more than you.
yeah,
These people are playing to win, and I think we should transition to one of the most interesting parts of this entire episode to me was the journey. The journey was such an interesting thing where, first off, we get to see the three methods of how they all got picked. We see Jelinski just volunteering and just being like, "I'm in,"
I'm
and
in.
everyone's okay. Going in, we had we had Tevin going, which was probably the best case scenario
Yeah,
for Orange for Nami, I believe. I believe
he rolled the dice.
yeah, they rolled the dice and it got his. And then I think what is it,
Maria, Maria
Maria.
won rock paper
I'll get it. I'll
scissors.
get it right. Don't you worry. Yeah, she won rock paper scissors, which she was all. I think this was the perfect three to
Yeah,
go. And to quickly explain to everyone who forgot, basically what happens is each one of them draws a card. One of them's labeled torch. If you get torch, you pick between the other two. One of them has a vote, and one of them's a skull. And you have to convince the person with the torch that you have the vote, so you get an extra vote. It's complicated, but in the show it makes sense. I felt like it was kind of weird, like how it was done.
yeah. It
Where
reminded
like,
me of like werewolf or like mafia or something,
yeah,
where it's like really like that kind of convincing game.
yeah,
But
and there's
dude, like Maria just is like puts on her like mom face, and Jelinski just immediately folds. Like he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm
it was
sorry. Yeah,
so
I have to school, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, dude, you're
it was bad. I will say that when you're in a situation like this, I do think that if you're given the skull, you're just like automatically in such a bad disadvantage. And I think Jelinski was right in saying like I was put in a terrible spot because he was. Where like you have the pressure of two people like trying not to lose their vote and you're like thinking about the long game, but also like your tribe would like immediately ostracize you if you lose your vote. And I think like him lying at first was like you got to go all in at that
yeah,
end. You got to try. But then just backing off, like it just looked so bad because you're lying to begin with.
right,
You might as well keep going. And his tribe obviously like hounded him for it. It was
yeah,
crazy. Which if I was there, I would be like, okay, like I understand like to a degree, but they were like all of them like individually were like understood like and really upset about it. And I think it just came down to like what they said, like he just gives up. Like
yeah,
and obviously that's probably the biggest flaw of his game, but like I think it just played out for just such perfect TV, especially at that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought like Maria and Tevin looked great. I got that as well.
Hmm.
Like they just and Maria might even find Tevin an ally, like because he did tell the truth. I mean, that's what he was supposed to do. But at the same time, like they both kind of got Jelinski to fold. Um and she knew like immediately. She was like, "Yeah, my gut." I was like, "Yeah, Jelinski's not telling the truth to me."
Yeah,
Um, but then he just told her anyway, which is just crazy. But yeah, I think that was just a perfect like I don't know, it's just give me perfect first boot vibes. Like he just did like everything wrong that he possibly could in this episode. Like he goes on the sweat and savvy, quits that, volunteers for the journey, and then quits that. And then he's just
doesn't do
like
the puzzle.
does yeah, he can't do the puzzle. And then he's sitting at camp like, yeah, where I'm chilling. Jess is just gonna go home. I don't have to do anything.
He keeps calling himself a legend. It
Yeah,
like it was just so perfect.
yeah, it was. Um, and I like yeah, the pacing was great. Editing was just like a great. Okay, can we talk about the challenge, like the freaking salamander or
That was funny.
the that was really
I
cool.
loved it. His description was like, "You've never seen a gecko or whatever salamander this big. It has bloodshot eyes and it's just like black eyes, and it's
Yeah,
like it's not bloodshot."
it's just
Now I
like
love that. I love the snake challenge in the water.
yeah,
Seeing it out and like I'm sure that's like very difficult, but like I feel
right.
like on land it's like as
Almost
difficult,
yeah,
if not like
or
a little
even
more,
worse. Yeah,
because it's like arms are like Orange Stripe just blows through this
yeah,
challenge.
that
It
was
wasn't even
insane.
like
Yeah,
close.
no,
And it really shows like such a difference. I think specifically like we saw Hunter make in the first challenge where like he like it was the first thing I ever noticed was that he ran before uh Venus and then went back for her and like basically did the challenge twice. I thought that was like he just told her to stay and like make the hole bigger just for everyone else. Like I thought
yeah.
that was a good strategy, but also it just shows like how athletically built every single person on that tribe is, where
They
there's not a
and
weak link.
we saw them with like um they're just kind of team working mentality. Like them they I feel like they bonded really well as a tribe too. I don't know.
Hmm.
I feel like Yanu's gonna go back to tribal. Like to be real with you, like I just
Yeah,
don't see them winning. And do you think there will be a swap on this season? Because was
I
that
do.
that was how many votes in last time? Was that three votes in?
I think we got the how many Lululemon?
It was
Uh,
three. It was three.
yeah, it was three
Yeah.
because of Sabaya.
Because so after Sabaya went, they swapped.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that's
I think it will happen after that. If I had to guess, it would be like I think Jess goes. They're not really setting her up for any like redemption or anything. And then I would say Raymond just because he's the only other guy who's like been set up for a boot.
who?
Is it Raymond?
Randon.
Randon. I'll
Yeah.
get the name story. Um, he's set up for a boot. I also don't think he's just like socially integrated within the tribe very well. Especially compared to like Hunter and Tevin and Soda, where
Yeah.
Soda's already on him.
From Orange I could see Randon or Liz, and then Purple like Jess, like maybe Banu, but probably not. And then from
Yeah,
Green,
I
like
guess.
sadly Tim, I guess, and Ben, like they just seem more obvious, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I think they're all looking okay. I'm not too worried about them right now. But I'm just enjoying watching the show. I'm not gonna like put too much analytical thought into it because I feel like that ruins the point. But
Mhm.
I'll be gone for spring break, but so I guess
No.
Joel will have to solo ride it next week.
I got you. Don't
So
you worry. I'll clutch.
and then also thank you everyone who watched the fantasy draft. Like we had a lot of fun
Yeah.
doing that. Jordan sadly lost Jelinski on the very first episode.
Who would have guessed?
And he was pretty far down in the draft, so it makes sense. Um, and yeah, we had a fun time with that. So if y'all would like to do that, you can check that out. Um, overall, great, great premiere. I do miss like them having. I like the classic like marooning on a boat a lot better than just like pulling up
Yeah.
to a beach. But um, like still fine with it. Tribal was really cool as well. Like
I know. Look, it was a
the whole
great. It
design.
was a
Yeah,
great set.
yeah, it was a great set. Like I just wish they like you know how they did like with 44 like the medieval kind of
Yeah,
style.
where it's just like over like whelmingly
Yeah.
medieval.
I wish they like kept those for each season, like just different theming. Like I guess it's gecko for this season, but they should just go all out, like everything gecko, everything like is like a there's a moon on it too, so like nighttime
Hmm.
gecko random theme, like do everything about that. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
I like.
No,
I'm starting to appreciate the more subtle theme. I don't know if any of you guys listen to Rob has a podcast interview with Jeff.
yes, I did. I was
Uh,
about to mention that.
Yeah, but Jeff, like, there's a lot we could talk about with that,
Sure,
but I
we can
just
go
want
into
to
that a
point
little
it.
bit.
But like, I just want to point that to Jeff is like thinking about like the long term, like with the themes. He was like, I was getting burnt out. Like, I want the theme to actually like not just be like something that goes for the pre-merge or something with the merge, but goes throughout the whole thing. I was like, like you could tell Jeff puts a lot of thought into it, and like he's obviously wrong at a lot of things. Like obviously the hourglass twist was something he wanted for a long time, and it was obviously terrible. But I do appreciate like now looking at it, like it is going to be a good reset and it's going to make when we do get a theme a lot better because he basically confirmed Survivor 50 would be an all-star season.
Right. And I don't think we'll see an all-star season until then. Like he kind of talked about in some interviews lately about them like they just like kind of they do what their job and they just don't really think about all those things like while they're in it. They're like, wow, we're finding so many great people to cast. So we just found a bunch of newbies through 48 now as well. Uh,
Hmm.
so I wouldn't see them doing back-to-back all-star seasons. I think that would be a little bit ridiculous, but I think all signs are pointing to 50, and they're going to put out all the stops for that. Um, but I really hope that they just like maybe try a two tribe season at some point in this new era. You know,
Yeah.
like
What
they can do some different things. You know, they don't have to have the same format for each season.
the one thing I did think was really interesting what Jeff talked about was that he talked about like this dangerous fun aspect of the new era that like everything is a risk, all this stuff. And I get and like say what you will, but like it does add a lot of intrigue. I think Beware Bandage is probably the best like utilization of that, where you're not just like finding an
Absolutely.
idol. And it also stops people like Ben from going on an idol like raging with idols. I think it's a good check for idols.
And
Obviously
they've
you can talk about journeys and all
for sure
that, but
they've done a
he
lot
did.
more lately with them like actually having to like multi-step to find the
Mhm.
idol like they used to, you know, like where you'd find a clue and you'd not just find the idol straight out.
Yeah.
Um, and I know like Russell Hantz broke that with like finding idols without a clue, but you can still like the first thing you find is a clue and then you have it hidden somewhere deeper in the forest. And I think that's better than what they had in the early New Era seasons where they had to do like the phrases or like even the bird
Yeah.
cage, you know, like I like the what they've done this cycle with like just hiding them more
Mhm.
in a way. And then I'm really kind of growing to appreciate the new era for what it is, and I'm glad for that as well. And I think um, Jeff just does a fantastic job as a host, and maybe he's not the best producer, but like this show wouldn't be where it is without him, and so we really got to appreciate him for that. So I'm really thankful that he has been like sticking with it for so long. Like
Yeah, no
he
kidding.
spent 24 years of his life working on this show. Like it's crazy. So
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, the one thing that gives me a lot of hope is that he said specifically like Rob asked him like when you have like these seasons that are supposed to encapsulate a single person's story like in one season, how do you make that go for over multiple seasons? He goes, "I'll tell you how. You kind of strip that away and just let them play the game." Like he's like, "I'm going to like reel back in everything on the next like All Stars where he said he was gonna give them like everything they want to be able to do. They're gonna be able to do it. So my guess would be like less journeys, less all this stuff, and he's gonna allow it to be like still idols and like bewares and stuff, but like really honed back, and he's gonna let like the players just like run the game, which I would love to see. Like a bunch, especially if like new era players come back and they don't have to deal with all these choices and just play. Ooh, we're gonna have a great
Yeah,
season.
and
So,
especially with all the characters that we've gotten in the new era, like
mm,
I feel like people don't really appreciate how good the casts have been. Like although there's been some like
there's been some duds.
a lot of duds, there's been a lot of people that are like same archetype kind of same job, like not a lot of like diversity there, but like um we have had a lot of standout characters and some people that like we like new era all-stars even. Like we're building to that point where we have 40, which marks the end of like a 40 season stretch. And I feel like with the new era it's almost the same thing as like seasons 1 through 7, the classic
Mhm.
Survivor that everything else built on. And so I think that's also what we're getting here, and I'm all here for it. Let's like there's obviously some people that I want to see back from the 30s that just never had a chance to come back,
Mhm.
but I don't know. If it's a new era All Stars, it's a new era All Stars. I feel terrible for the people like before 40, and I don't think we're gonna get everything we want, with Survivor either. So I don't know. I think that whole interview with Jeff was great, and I can just tell that he has a lot of gas left. Like
Yeah,
he's planning to do this for a long time, and he's been doing it for a long time already. But
yeah. So this is a great time to get into Survivor. If
yes,
you haven't checked out, if you haven't checked out Aussie Survivor, it is also unbelievably good. One of my favorite seasons I've seen in a long time.
man, I started watching the first episode. I didn't finish it yet though, so
You'll see,
a little
especially
late.
if you feel this is like very, very good.
They're just so
So
long, bro. It's hard for me to get through those episodes because like every 2 seconds it's like the power music that they play in the background.
yeah,
It's like
once you get, yeah, I'm used to
it's
the
like
editing now, but
yeah,
like
it's just
at
like
first
oh my
it's
God,
hard.
I can't just chill and watch it. But
No, they're like, you're gonna watch this the entire way through.
yeah.
So I usually just like, I don't know. I just have it like on in the background or something, and then I'll be like, oh
Gotcha.
my gosh, that's important. But yeah, definitely watch this season of Survivor. Definitely watch Aussie Survivor. Definitely watch our channel more. Yes, that's
Yes.
right.
I'm so excited to talk Survivor 46 this whole season. It's gonna be great. And we have talked a little bit, but we need to figure out like anything else that we're gonna be doing outside of recaps because I know y'all may want some more content from us as well. And I know we've had a lot of new viewers lately. So if you're watching a recap for the first time, we did 45, but we're back with 46 now. And I hope y'all enjoyed some of the recent videos we did this off season with our season rankings as well as our fantasy draft. And so with that in mind, please go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. 99% of our viewers are not subscribed, which is really sad.
So
And so all of you who are coming in, I know this might not be your cup of tea already, but it really helps the channel and it helps other Survivor fans find our channel as well. And so we really just hope to create content for you guys that you can just enjoy listening to us college guys blabber about our favorite television show. So please go ahead and join us in the comments as well and tell us one thing that you loved about this premiere. So without further ado, I think that's all we have for today. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything, any departing words?
no, sir. Just check out the channel and comment something nice. Share a friend and I don't know, hit that like button.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. We will see you guys next time. Have a great week, and we will be back to recap episode 2.